the Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. Happy August to you. The start of a new month means that I'm ready to share my favorites from the previous month. So welcome to my July favorites video. I'll be covering some hair care, some skincare, and of course, chiefly cosmetics. I'm going to do my very best to keep this brief and succinct because it's extremely late at night. Actually, it's early morning. I finally found a window of time in my day or night or morning to film this video, and so it's an ungodly hour and I want to make sure that I get through it without rambling. So I'm going to start with foundation, and July was a great month for foundation. For me personally, I'm a fan of foundation. I'm always excited to try a new formula, even though I have many formulas in my collection that I love and use on a regular basis. The first foundation that I spent a lot of time using in July was the Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation, and I'm a huge lover of the Clé de Peau foundation collection. My favorite in the line is the cream foundation, and I wore it for most of the winter and springtime months, and so I was definitely interested when I heard that Clé de Peau would be releasing a new formula. This formula is thinner and lighter in texture than the cream foundation, for those of you who've loved it or have had experience with it, but it still provides amazing coverage. I'm wearing it in the shade 030, which is a step up from my typical 020. I appreciate the fact that the shades are consistent in the Clé de Peau foundation collection from formula to formula. So if you are an 020 in, say, the Silky Cream, then you will be an 020 in the new Radiant, and so on. Because it's summer, my skin is a bit darker, and so the 030 is a perfect match for me right now. And my skin is, by MAC standards, probably at an NC 27, 28, somewhere in that range. So with regards to this foundation, it comes in this airtight pump dispenser. It is really light, texturally speaking, as I've already mentioned. It just melds into the skin. It leaves a poreless, very natural satin matte finish, and it has remarkable lasting power. But for me, the most significant thing is that it has really good coverage for a thin, light liquid foundation. It's just beautiful, and I've used it countless times this past month. It has not in any way irritated my very sensitive skin, and I cannot recommend this enough. It's an amazing foundation. Which brings me to another foundation love, and that is the freshly released Tom Ford Traceless Perfecting Foundation. This is also a liquid, and I will say that I was not a personal lover of the original Tom Ford Traceless because it was just not enough coverage for my preference. And I know many people that it really works for and looks amazing on, but for me, I prefer a bit more coverage. When I heard that the Traceless Perfecting was coming out, I was eager to make sure to get to the store and try it. I incidentally was able to swatch every shade, and they're all on my blog right now with extensive shade descriptions. There's 15 shades in all. It's fortuitous enough for me to be able to be at the Tom Ford counter at Neiman Marcus within seconds of this foundation arriving, so I was able to swatch it and get those swatches up quickly. First off, the pump is recessed until you twist, and there it pops up, but I think that's just an interesting design factor. In terms of the actual foundation, I've been wearing the number 5, which is natural, and I am natural in the stick as well as the original Traceless version, but I will say that this natural is darker than the stick. It is just a darker color. For me, that's a benefit because it does match my tanner skin right now, but I could not get away with wearing natural in the winter, whereas I can get away with wearing natural in the stick in the winter. It has very good coverage for a liquid foundation. I would deem this medium to full coverage just in one coat, and it has a natural finish. It just looks like really healthy, really good skin, and I love the fact that it's a little bit matte when you've just applied it, because especially in the warmer months, you might appreciate not getting too glowy too quickly. It also purports to be very long wearing, and yes, it is. I have been wearing it, testing it out this week since getting this, wearing it for 10, 12 hours in excruciating heat as it has been in Southern California. Lots of humidity, lots of sun. It's beautiful, but definitely gives your foundation a proper test, and this has held up amazingly. I have been wearing it since this morning, and now it's like 2 in the next morning. So gosh, we're going on, you know, an absurd amount of hours, and it still looks good. I'm just really marveling at how well it stays in place. It might not, like any foundation, work this well with every skin type, but for me, I'm just normal skin, leaning towards combination just in the T-zone here, and so I am just over the moon with how well this lasts. In sum, these two foundations were definitely July favorites. One was for the first half of July, this has been for the second half, and I know I'll be wearing both of these. I'm headed on a trip in a little while. I know I'll be wearing both of these continuously throughout the rest of the summer. On to a quick hair care item I am going to talk about, and this is the Alterna Caviar CC Cream 10-in-1 Complete Correction Leave-In Hair Perfector. Perhaps world's longest name. This, like many CC cream incarnations, purports to improve, in this case, the hair rather than the skin on a bunch of different levels. So everything from moisturizing, detangling, conditioning, adding shine, giving UV protection, sealing the cuticle, heat protection, and even protecting the hair from breakage. And I really appreciate the fact that it's a leave-in. So I just put a pump of this onto my hands after I get out of the shower and put it into my wet hair through the ends, kind of distribute it evenly, and then brush out my hair with my Tangle Teaser. And I'm just really impressed with how well this detangles. My hair looks shiny and soft and silky, and it truly does feel like it takes care of your hair on a myriad of levels. So I'm loving this kind of all-in-one product, and it's really great for travel because of all that it does. Moving on to some skincare, I just wanted to make a mention of the fact I'm adoring the Kate Somerville Eczema Therapy Cream. Now, I don't have eczema. I think I've mentioned this in a previous video months ago, and I explained that then. I do have really dry skin, and I have allergies, so I'm prone to getting itchy, especially on my legs. And this does an amazing job of mitigating that potential itchiness. I am at the very, very end of this tube. I have about this much left, and that's been after a couple months of daily usage, so it has lasted me a great while. But I am just pleased with how well it has kept my legs really moisturized. I put it on directly after showering, and my skin is just soft. It sinks in immediately. It doesn't have any kind of scent, so it's great for sensitive skin, and especially as we're facing warm, in some cases dry months ahead. I've really tried to simplify my routine this summer because I've had some time at home and I'm just enjoying getting back to basics. One skincare item I have been maintaining usage of, in some cases it's the only thing I put on before I go to bed, is the Prairie Cellular Swiss Ice Crystal Dry Oil. I've had this in my possession since, gosh, December or January, and I've done blog posts on it and videos, but I will say that my skin, every time I use this, and in this case I use it every night before going to bed after cleansing, every time I wake up the next morning my skin is just balanced, it's healthy, it's moisturized, it looks fresh and alive. This is magical. I love this oil, and it's one that I've really been sticking with 6 months into the year at this point, and it's my go-to. I'm going to be putting it on again when I finally go to bed tonight. Or this morning. A cleanser slash mask that I've also already mentioned, but I'm still really enjoying and have used heavily in July, is the LiftLab Skin Regeneration Purify and Clarify Daily Cleanser and Detox Mask. And once again, it's just kind of a multitasking product. I leave it in my shower and I use it one of two ways. If I'm in a rush, I just cleanse. So I put it on my hands, rub it in, it takes off makeup, it takes off everything. Your skin is left really clean, smooth, and balanced. If you have a little extra time in the shower, say I'm going to shave as well, I can build it up to a really kind of fluffy lather and then let it stay on my face like a mask, and it'll do that. It'll just stay in place while you're in the shower. And leave it on for a couple of minutes, and that actually maximizes the benefits of this product. So I really am impressed by the fact that it's both a cleanser and a mask if you wish, and my skin has been just responding really well to this particular product. The final skincare product I'll be discussing is the Diptyque Radiance Boosting Powder for the face. And the Diptyque skincare line is something that I experienced all through the month of July. I have 5 products in my possession, and I've talked about them preliminarily on my blog. But this powder is just, it's so interesting. It's so light, it's so simple, and you can use it to cleanse your skin, to give it an extra boost of radiance, kind of exfoliate, but it's really light, so it looks finely milled, and you just mix it with water at the sink and then rub it into your face. You can feel that there's some granule exfoliators, but it's not harsh. It's really great for skin that's sensitive, and it just has a really fresh scent, as one would expect from the Diptyque line. I have been loving the skincare products that come from this line that I've gotten to try this month, and this was just a big standout for me, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned it in this video. In terms of makeup for the face that's not foundation, I'll be talking about 3 products. The first is the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow Face Sculpt and Highlight Compact. This was available to me through the Nordstrom anniversary sale. I've discussed it on my blog. I've since updated with images, and then I just did an extensive blog post on it as well, a comprehensive review. So I've been working with it for nearly the entire month and still loving it. I've been using it daily. This has a sculpting side that's a bronzer, but it's got this beautiful brown tone that looks very contour-esque if you apply it in those areas. And so I typically use my Jenny Patikin cheek brush, and I just apply it along the hollows of my cheekbones, along my jawline, a little bit on the sides of my nose, but I don't get too exact there, and then across the upper area of my forehead off to the sides, just to warm things up and keep it balanced. The sculpting side is finely milled. It just blends into the skin easily. It warms things up, but it still looks really natural. And if you want to see up close swatches and of course read more thoughts on this, I will go ahead and link to my blog post on it in the details box. The highlight side is equally lovely. It's a soft champagne light capturing, but it's not overly shimmery, so it just gives this beautiful, dewy, radiant, luminescent look on the face. And I just use my same brush, and I just bring it across my cheekbones, a little bit down the bridge of my nose, a little bit more at my cupid's bow, and maybe just slightly use up the excess to put it all over my face for some extra glow. I have it on right now, and I don't know if I mentioned this when I was talking about foundation, but for this video I'm also wearing the Tom Ford Traceless Perfecting Foundation in number 5. So those 2 products are in action right now, and I just can't say enough good things about this. Gorgeous, compact, really quality product, and I'm excited that Charlotte Tilbury's whole line is coming to Nordstrom, I think, in September, so we'll be able to access it a lot more readily then. Equally luxurious, but certainly a different consistency and texture, is the By Terry Tea to Tan. I know I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm still using it heavily. It is a thin liquid bronzer that has a shimmer component, but if you let it settle, then you can just wear the non-shimmery, very authentic looking tan liquid. And I just bring it onto my hand like this when I want to apply, and then I use a flathead stippling brush to stipple it into the very areas I just said I would use the Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt for. This gives the most believable tan, just like your skin has been kissed by the sun. It's not orange, it's not too peachy, it is just like a really good tan on your face. And I don't tan my face ever. I always have SPF on, and a hat if I'm in direct sunlight. So I'm always on the hunt for great products to mimic the look of a beautifully tanned face. The final face product I'll be discussing is the Surrall Diaphane Loose Powder Compact. I have a whole video dedicated to this, and certainly a blog post as well, which I'll link to. But this is the powder I've been using a lot in the month of July. Because I've taken my foundation a step deeper, because it needs to match the tanness of my body, then I'm looking for a powder that's not going to compete with that deeper shade, which means I need something almost translucent but still radiant and shine controlling. The Surrall Diaphane powder is definitely that. Just adds this gossamer veil of perfecting particles onto your face. It blurs imperfections, it blurs pores, it takes away unwanted shine, and it stays put. And it's essentially translucent, so you don't see it on the face. It's not depositing any color or competing with existing color. So I know this compact has been sold out many times since I've discussed it back in the fall, but I do believe it is currently available at Barney's, and I'll make sure to link to that below. The last bit of this video will be dedicated to some other key makeup items that I've been relying upon heavily this July. The first is, I suppose, still a face product, but I also like using it on my lips, so it's a multitasker. And that is the Jouer Luminizing Cheek Tint in Rosy Glow. It is a gorgeous gel-based blush, and it almost looks like nothing when you first swatch it. You have to give it some time to let the color adapt to your skin and then develop into the most believable, soft, rosy pink glow on the face. And I like to just dot it onto the apples of my cheeks, sometimes with my fingers, sometimes with a brush, and then sometimes I just sweep a little bit more on my lips and let it happen. So this is just gorgeous. It's part of the summer 2014 collection, and you can see it just comes in a silver Jouer compact rather than their classic brown packaging, and I think that adds a little flair for summer. And it's just so sleek. So it's always in my handbag. I just toss it in there and use it whenever the feeling occurs. Eyes, I'll be talking about 3 products. One is the NARS Dual Intensity Eyeshadow, and in this case I'm discussing Himalaya. I bought 2. I also have Phoebe, which is a gorgeous purple, but I wear the Himalaya nearly daily when I'm just wanting to put a quick eye together. I have it on right now. Another eye product is the Hourglass 1.5 millimeter precision eyeliner, and this is a gel formula. It was released this month and I've been using it non-stop since receiving it. I love putting eyeliner on my waterline and even tightlining my upper interior waterline of my upper lashes. I'm always looking for products that allow me to do that, that stay put, that are so tiny as to not disrupt the eye, which then, you know, if it waters, then you have to start over again. This has the most diminutive tip ever. And this particular gel eyeliner comes in a package of 3. Each liner allows for about 20 applications, so you get definitely a really precise, no need to sharpen application every single time. It glides on without even having to apply pressure, and I give it a couple seconds to set, and once it sets, it does not budge. Finally, for eyes, I wanted to discuss the Clé de Peau Eye Color Quad in 303, which is Baby Universe. And I have all 8 Clé de Peau eye color quads swatched on my blog. I'll put a link to that below. But Baby Universe is definitely my favorite. I'm just a sucker for warm and rosy taupes on the eyes. I think they're so easy to wear. And this one is definitely up my alley. So I will showcase some looks with this on my blog soon, but I will say I've been using it and loving it. It's definitely the standout for me in that gorgeous group of 8 for the month of July. And finally, lips. Gosh, I have used a myriad of lip color options that I've really enjoyed over this past month, but for the sake of brevity, I've pared it down to 3. And that's saying something for me, who has about 18 lipsticks in her purse at any given time. The lip combination that I have been loving, and I'm actually wearing right now, consists of 2 products. One is the Dior Fluid Stick in Kiss Me. I know I've discussed it, I know I've reviewed it, and I've been just devoted to it over the month of July. Beautiful, creamy, light to mid pink, and a little bit on the cool side. I truly, despite having a grotesque amount of pinks, don't have a pink that's like this. And the texture of the fluid sticks is just delightful. It's moisturizing, it's slightly shiny, but once it dries down, it stays in place. It's amazing. I've been mixing Kiss Me with the Buxom Lip Foundation in the second lightest shade, which is nude, and it looks like this. Now, there has been some discussion about the lip foundation perhaps being drying, and for me, as somebody who has a propensity towards dry lips, I don't wear this alone. If I put a coat of the Dior Fluid Stick, for example, and then a coat of this over it, I don't experience any dryness or discomfort whatsoever, and my lips just stay looking exactly as they did when I initially applied both. I'm currently wearing it, and it's just a combination that has definitely punctuated my July. Finally, something that's a wild departure for me color-wise as a undying nude lover is this amazing Surrall lip crayon in the shade Deep in Vogue. It's so pigmented. It's so beautiful. It's just a purple-ish shade. It's not that traditional electric purple. It's a deeper, more sophisticated chic purple. And believe it or not, I like wearing this as my first base sometimes. I'm a fan of the lilac lip, and so I'll just put this all over my lips. It's not drying, so I can put it on as a first layer, and then I might mix it with another shade to lighten it up slightly. I've been using Tom Ford Nude Vanille, or even this nude lip foundation, or perhaps just a pale gloss like Tom Ford Naked over it, or Surrall Coquette, and it just creates a very lovely, soft, yet sophisticated and chic purple tinged lip. I will one day be brave enough to try this all by itself, unmitigated by any kind of softening lip color, but in the meanwhile, I'm just really happy to have this as a part of my lip routine, and this has been in my purse for the entire month of July. And so concludes my July favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. I welcome your questions and your comments. Love to hear your experience with any of the products that I've discussed today, and I'd also love to know what were standouts for you in the month of July. I hope your summer is going really well. Please don't forget to visit me at my beauty blog, Beauty Professor, which can be found at www.beautyprofessor.net. Take care.